Today's a little different. I thought I'd just have a quick discussion about where MTG is these days and what it takes to invest in this sealed product market and how it's changed over the just the last 3 or 4 years. So what you're looking at here is just a spreadsheet that I put together to give you an idea of what it costs to invest in sealed product and what the potential returns are. So I put together just kind of a basic case. So let's say you want to buy 13, boxes of sealed product. So that'd be 2 cases plus a box, and in typical MTG booster box type setup. There's a little bit different for specialty products, but more or less. And if you were to do that, the reasoning behind the 13 is that you want to open one just for yourself, have fun with it, maybe draft off it, or just crack the packs and do whatever. And the rest you leave sealed. So in 2017, we had 4, 5, 6. We have 6 main sets that came out, and I'm not including everything that you could buy in sealed. I mean, I know there's some Commander products and there's a whole bunch of stuff that you could throw in here, but this is just kind of the core, the core products that released, the major release products. Now I know there's a whole bunch of ancillary stuff, and that just adds to the cost, by the way. So in 2017, we had Aether Revolt, Modern Masters, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, Ixalan, and Iconic Masters. And I put how much would that cost you to buy a single box? Roughly these are the prices. So to buy a single box of Aether Revolt, if you were a patron of Alpha Investments, you'd get that for $80, and so on and so forth. You could Iconic, I know, is more expensive at the time, but you could have until maybe a couple of years ago got this pretty cheap actually. That might be off a little bit, but you can flame me later. This is just to give you a feel for it. So if you had to buy 13 of those, you just multiply these 2 columns, you get what it is. And this is, let's call this your 1-year investment. That cost you around $9,000 in 2017. And I'm not going to account for inflation, but $9,000 nominal 2017 dollars. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to have 2 cases of just the core products in that year. But if you look at what happened in this year right now, as of April 2021, here are the current prices for these products on eBay, and I picked the lower end prices for these things, and you're looking at around $200 a box for Aether Revolt, $230 for Iconic Masters, $140 for Ixalan, $140 for Hour, $280. I know you can get this now for $250, let's call it. It doesn't really change much. And you can see the prices here, that your gain loss on a percentage basis is pretty good. Your total average, if you were to hold all this stuff for the last 4 years, 3.5, 4 years, you would have had a 100% increase on the total investment, almost 100% increase on the total investment. With some products doing really well and other ones doing okay. 50%, 56% over 3-4 years is pretty good. I'm excluding eBay fees and everything else because I don't know how you're going to sell these things, but that would chip into this, of course. But even so, you're looking at an 80 to 100% rough increase in the value. Now, I didn't do this for 18, 19, and 20, but I just want to show you what happens now as we move along in time. So 2017 was kind of a dark-ish time for sealed product and MTG. There was a lot of product on the market. Hour of Devastation was total garbage. People really hated it, and the whole kind of market was suffering in the sealed product world. And then Rivals of Ixalan kind of continued that trend a little bit into 2018. But then you started to see things turn around. Dominaria was a fantastic set. People love it. Battle Bond, I really liked it when it came out. and then the Guilds of Ravnica, Ultimasters, things really started to increase and puff up the market. People got interested in the products. You could tell that Wizards was putting a lot more attention in these products, and you were getting some quality things come out of it. But with that, it cost almost $14,000 to invest in that product in 2018. Just to, again, the core products within that. 2019 was really similar, a little bit cheaper because you didn't have this big master set, but you did have Modern Horizons. I think that's a little low. Let's put that up. There you go. And then you have the introduction, of course, of collector's boxes. And this number was all over the place, as were the mystery boosters. You could find cheaper ones, you could find more expensive ones. I try to get kind of an average. But you can see in 2018 you were around 13,500. In 2019 you have, again, more products than you had in 2017. You had a roughly the same number of products, but in a way it was fewer products because the Throne of Eldraine collector's a derivative off of a single set, and that was a really important idea that they were testing at that time. And that's kind of this product splitting idea where you take the same thing, you just tweak it a little bit, but it's identical, essentially identical. And that has just exploded in 2020, and it will continue to go this way. If we look at the difference between collecting in 2017, 2018, 2019, you're looking at roughly, call it plus or minus $10,000 to $11,000 a year to get 2 cases plus a box of every core set. Now, when you go to 2020, they, what Wizards said, no, we need to split all of our products up in a number of different products, the same product in a number of different ways, so as to essentially derivatize everything and massively increase their profits and revenue and profits. So, for example, we had a Commander's Legends, first real Commander's sealed product, randomized sealed product as the booster box. That's expensive. We had the Legends collector boxes, which are expensive. Zendikar Rising, booster, set, and collector. This trifecta, I'm not even including the Commander product. That we're going to see that for a while. Double Masters, booster, plus the VIP. Then we have Jumpstart, Core 21 and collector, Ikoria, booster, collector, Theros, booster, collector. So you can see as they progress through the year, they said, let's take this splitting idea of collector and booster and split it again. And that's where the set booster box kind of came about. But look what happens when they do that. You have effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets came out. 1, 2, let's go here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's basically the same number of kind of core sets. You have a master's product, you have a specialty product, you have another master's product, plus the core identity sets, and you have roughly 7 sets come out of that for $13,000. Skip to 2020, 2 years later, it's the same thing. You have basically 7 sets, and now you have way more products. I mean, you have 14, you've doubled the products count, but you have the same number of core ideas going into the thing. But lo and behold, if you wanted to invest in that, you're spending 3 times the money. You're now at $34,000 versus $11,000 or $13,000 in this case, or $9,000 in 2017. And 2021's just started. We have 3 Kaldheim materials, 3 Strixhaven's materials, again, not including Commander products, Time Spiral Remaster. We're going to see Modern Horizons 2, and that's going to have at least a collector's box plus whatever. I don't know if it's going to have a set box or not, but who knows what's going to happen with that. And then whatever other products they release this year. So I can imagine that this year is going to be at least this number to collect one of every two cases of every one plus a box to open. And I realize it's expensive to do such a thing. Collecting collector's boxes is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. So I get it, but that's what it takes now to do this, and I think that it's going to get more and more difficult for the average collector or average sealed product collector to keep up. And we've already seen it in the last 2 years. I think it's going to accelerate. The one positive I would take away from this is that I feel that there will be fewer print runs because there's just not, the market's not big enough to have, for example, the same print run of Zendikar boosters as War of the Spark when you have the set and collector. I just don't see how the market can support that in terms of just pure volume of cards. There's going to be some sort of cannibalizing of that overall product. And the other thing that I'm not totally sure about yet, but the collector boxes are a big question mark for me. I have many of them. I do invest in them, but I am a little shaky on them right now. I'm just not sure they're going to drive value. I really think that the price at which you get into these is super important. Booster boxes are through Alpha Investments. If you can become a patron of his, I don't shill for him at all. I'm just saying it's one of the best deals around. If you can, and you want to be a sealed product investor, it's a pretty good deal. I know now it's I think $82 a box, but okay, so. And he's really easy to deal with. He's a really chill guy. So, and he offers great products and good deals. So, if you can get in, and you want to become a sealed product investor, I recommend it, because if you look at things like look at Amonkhet, I remember. So I was buying Amonkhet boxes for $60 on eBay when no one wanted them, and that was just a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago max. Same with things like Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan. I bought a bunch of that stuff. Same deal. You're going to see a lot of price increase on this stuff because people don't want it. So Battle Bond, same thing, same story. You buy these lower cost entry point, Guilds of Ravnica in the future is going to be a great deal. You buy these lower cost entry point booster boxes. I think that you'll see the largest return over time. I have a whole separate thing on how the returns change with time versus the types of boxes you're buying. But I definitely am a big fan of the regular booster box seal product. I'm totally unsure what's going to happen with the collector boxes. It's really hard to say what's going to happen there. But for that, let's look at Commander Legends boxes. Now the supply is limited, and if you bought it for $300 something a box, it's a lot harder to get that to go to 200 and something percent like you have with Amonkhet. That's going to be close to $1,000 box. Can it happen? Sure, but there are a lot fewer buyers at that price than there are at the $250 mark for Amonkhet. So just keep that in mind. I will say I'm a big fan of War of the Spark because there's so many Planeswalkers in that set that future new sets will unlock the potential of those cards, and they'll be more or less sought after depending on how useful they are. I'm also a really big fan of things like Aether Revolt and Amonkhet. The lottery cards are really hard to get, and I think will put a floor for that. And having said that, I will say that the Zendikar Rising is an interesting set for that reason, and I'd keep an eye on that if I were you guys as well. It's really early days. Obviously, you can get in pretty cheap. So check it out. Anyways, that's all I got today, and hope everyone's doing well.